Go. All right, so as you can see here, I'm basically working on this little 3D little world. Yes, it looks pretty unprofessional when you zoom out, but if you zoom in, there's actually some pretty cool shit here. So let's go into render mode, and this might slow down my computer a little bit. But as you can see, if the fog doesn't flicker too much, we are in a simulation of this new little Skyface city. And if I press play, you'll start seeing all the animations start moving around. So yeah, I'll just basically just explain to you, like, what I did here. Okay, so this is actually a procedurally generated light bulb thing. So, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about what exactly I did here. If you guys watch like YouTube Blender tutorials, you know of a guy named Ian Hubert, and he showed me a technique on basically ripping images off of like Google or something, putting them on a flat plane, and then extruding the plane into an actual representation of what you ripped off the internet. So, for example, this was I guess I could just show you. It was a picture that I ripped off of the internet. Let me see. Maybe if I put cyberpunk city, maybe we can check it out here. So, can't find it. Yeah, there's a bunch of cyberpunk shit. See if I could pull it up here. Nope, that's too big. Yeah, I think I know where I have it. I have it here. Okay, so let me just throw this in here so you guys can check it out. Where'd it go? Oh, didn't pop out. What about this one? There we go. Oh, geez, that's too big. Control D. Oh, shit, too big. Control D. Okay. So this is the picture that I modeled this city after. If we go to the camera view, you can see what I'm talking about here. Hang on. Is that the camera? Fix the camera view. Zoomed out a little too much. Bam. Okay, so you could already see some of the similarities of my city. Oh, Jesus Christ. We're having some technical difficulties here. Hang on. Let me just... oh, God. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at this shit. Okay. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you can see the similarities between... well, let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. You can see the similarities between my city and this city right here. First of all, my city's a lot darker. This one has like a purple skyline to it. I did add a skyline to it, but basically, before I get ahead of myself, I just grabbed these buildings, fucking ripped them out of this picture, made a 3D representation of what they kind of look like, and slapped them on, the text as textures. Ian Huber can explain it a little bit better, but that's basically how this came to be. So yeah, the buildings, everything, it's all a picture that I just extruded. So you can see here it gets pretty distorted. The ground is also the photo because I didn't have. Don't mind the concrete, but like over here, see, like it's kind of the picture on the ground. The reason why I did that is because like I didn't really have a ground to work with in the photo. Everything was taken up by buildings, and so I just went ahead and just slapped the ground on the floor, and then I started to fill it up with concrete, which these are like concrete textures that I made, procedurally generated, onto the street just to make it a little more real looking, So I'm gonna fill in these parts here with like ground. I wanted some sort of placeholder. There go the cars. So yeah, this is a shipping yard, impromptu. Don't really have anything done here. That's supposed to be a crane, not a light post. I know it looks like a light post, but it's actually like a crane mechanism. There's a lot of lights in this area because, you know, it's a shipping yard. There has to be a lot of lights involved. Let me actually get rid of this overlay. That way it's a little cleaner. There we go. Okay, so that's that. These are floating street lamps, and reason being is because in the future, I pictured street lamps to float. Makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to this thing. Okay, so this is a bunch of light bulbs. They're all individual. If we go here to this, so you can see these are all light bulbs that I just made a huge array out of. It was pretty complicated to make the array. It's not rocket science, but in simple terms, it's like I made one and I made it flicker. And then I made the second one, I made it flicker as well, but on offset. And then I made the third one more different than that. And then I made an array. And then I basically, so an array, you know, you multiply the items. Then I joined the array, like I applied it. Then I separated all the bulbs as loose parts. So that way I had multiple objects again. And then I started messing around with the other bulbs that I didn't mess with and tweaked them some more and gave them all individual parameters to work with and flick on and off and on and off, kind of like a computer. And then basically just made an array of that and made an array of an array and an array and an array of an array. And eventually you get this, which is, we press play here. It's working kind of like a casino light. I didn't expect it to work out like this, and maybe I can do more cool things with it in the future. But as of right now, it works, and it's working like a casino light. So, like, you know those like billboards that you see in like Las Vegas that kind of move like this, or like maybe like a concert, like a DJ concert, like that's more or less how it's gonna move. And it's a lot of it is like out of sync, but it's doing this like weird dance that I find very pleasing. And so I grabbed that and I basically said, all right, let's just slap that onto this one, right? No, not this one, right here, this one. And what I did here was I just started like deleting random ones and just making it look like a little more jagged, you know, have more edges and be just more scattered. So I just started deleting like random ones and eventually we got these two buildings right here, which look pretty cool. Up there you have the Bleep Tower. It's a social media company, Bleep. Get on Bleep, you know, whatever. Up here we have little particles sticking out of the buildings. Supposed to look like, you know, like flashing lights. For some reason they're not flashing right now. They were supposed to be flashing. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Now they're flashing. Okay, maybe because I need to extend the flash. Yeah, that's probably it. I have this running at 900 frames. And yeah, let's move on. So over here, we have some traffic going on in the future in the background. So this traffic is it's moving all over the place actually. Not looking at it, but in simple terms, this traffic is a skyway. And so what a skyway is in the future is a highway in the sky. Can you believe it? In my ear. Oh, no, nothing. Could you believe it that there's a skyway? I couldn't believe it. So I made it. And yeah, these are all like individual cars. If we pause it, you can see that the cars aren't actually like fully modeled. But I tried to make them look as futuristic as possible. I gave them little headlights and you know, I gave them like little trims there on the bottom of the car to make the cars look futuristic. This is supposed to be a truck. Yeah. If we you could see it's just a cube that I extruded. But it's a neat cube that I extruded, and I did a mirror modifier and I made it look cool. That's just a simple car. Pretty simple stuff. Up here I just ripped the bus texture. Didn't even rip off the wheels or anything. Just put it in the middle of the air. Just to give, you know, a little bit more unique car situation. This was a lot more high def when I started working on it. I swear, I promise. But along the process, I had to remove some polygons just so I don't, you know, I can Because if you have a lot of polygons in your mesh, it tends to slow down the animation. So I just use a decimate modifier and just got rid of a lot of polygons. You can't really see it from far away, but if you look at it, it looks like a fucking mess. However, I think the blades on this thing do spin. Oh, you see? You see? Let me just double check, see if they spin. I think they do spin. They were supposed to. There was a time when those blades would spin. Doesn't seem like they're spinning anymore. There was a time. And yeah, man, like I just gave some cars some different colors and just basically made this little skyway thing over here. And back here you can see how like the terrain starts to get a little bumpier just because I wanted to put like some hills and stuff. Back here, I put the concrete over the hills and stuff. I'm gonna cover this up with grass back here. A part of this is gonna have some like waves and water and stuff. But let's move on to the other part of the traffic. So this is Skyway number 1, and this is Skyway number 2. It starts right here. Okay, so there's a problem I'm having with Blender. Now that we got to this point, I'm having a problem with Blender where if I have multiple curves in a scene, one curve starts to affect the other curve, and they start working improperly. I did some research on it. I figured out that the curve has like a force field around it, and you can make that force field bigger or smaller. I've tried messing with it, and it still doesn't work how I want it to work. Because how it's supposed to work is there's a curb going down this street right here, right here down this street. And the cars are supposed to go perfectly in sync, and then that way, you know, it's supposed to go straight. But for some reason, the curve over here is messing up the curve over there, I believe. Pretty sure. Let me double check this. Okay, so you see how the curve is pretty lined up with the street? Cars come in down here, they go like this, they go that way, and then they go like that, right? So instead of doing that, the cars have decided to take a mind of their own at about this point right here. So you can see that the cars start doing their own fucking thing, and they're not really moving along the curve. And maybe there's some feature that I can hopefully fix that with. But the problem that I'm having, so like it looks like the particles are moving like that, and then like this, and then it's going correctly this way. But then why does it go this way? That's the part I don't understand. Like, maybe I need to apply the scale, all transformations of the curve. Let's see if that works. No. Nope, that doesn't work. It makes things worse. Let me just undo that. Okay, so I got it to a point where it's not like completely, because that's in the beginning the cars were just like a tornado, and I was like, this is a little ridiculous. So I got it to a point where the cars aren't a tornado, but they're not perfect. And so I'm having issues with traffic simulation, if you can believe it, folks. Something cool that I like to mention is the subscattering reflections. If you look at the building when the cars are driving by, let me just come on, bitch. Okay, if you look at the building while the cars are driving by, you can see the reflections of the car on the building. Chef's kiss, perfect effect that's creating right here. If we zoom in a little bit more, let's really get in there and look at what we're seeing here. So what we're seeing is a representation of the 3D model move across the surface. Let's wait for another car. Or wait, can't we see it? Can we not see it if we're closing? Okay, yeah. Wait. Okay, they're passing. Oh, I can't see it if I'm at a certain distance. Okay, so I can only see it from this distance. I wish I could bring the camera in here, but I can't. Whatever. Point is, it's very, very accurate. The particles and the reflection, it's working off of the color of the building, because we look here at this thingy. Oh, some cars are going under the concrete. That's not good. But if we look at this thing, the building is actually purple. So it's working with the color in the building. And it's just so beautiful to have that effect work perfectly. Some cars are really glitching out at this point. Look at that buzz. Like, jeez. Jeez. Okay. All right, so that's that. That's the traffic simulation. Let's see what happens with the cars. Oh, they start doing some weird stuff around here, and then they just make a turn, and then they go inside that pyramid or this building right here. And it's like, what? What are we doing? Stop crashing! You're causing human suffering! Stop crashing! Watch out! You're gonna crash into the building! Stop! Stop it! Oh, that guy got through. Oh, but then he crashed into the hill. So right now we're causing massive fatalities. It is not good. So if you guys know a way to actually figure that out, please let me know. I really need your help on that. If not, I'll probably figure it out at some point. Okay, so oh look, you can see the little spotlights that I have up there. See them because I turned off the specular. Okay, so this is just an emission shader. Just if we see that it creates like a little blooming effect. It's really cool. These are also emissions. I just basically used a knife tool and I just cut a hole in the building and made an emission out of that square that I made in the building. And then this is probably my proudest thing. This effect right here was actually something I never thought I'd use to make videos, and that's called FL Studios. I don't know if you guys produce music, but FL Studios has this great plugin that's called Z Game Editor Visualizer. And it essentially lets you throw in any videos that you want and make like this pixelated effect for it. And then you can export it as your own video and then re-import it into Blender. So what I did here was I created this in FL Studios, this picture that you're seeing, this visual video. And then I exported it and threw it into Blender. And then I imported that as a plane, and I put it on a plane, and then I made the video loop and slapped it on that building, and that's how you get that. And it was actually a solution for something. It was a solution that I would have never thought of in a million years. But because I started making music videos with Z Game Editor on FL Studios, this idea came to life, and it was a perfect idea to use this, because now it looks like a billboard. Like, it really does look like something that would be on the billboard, which is really cool. And I think that's basically it. I'm gonna keep working on this little scene. So far, it's working great for what I have back here.